All right, let's go ahead and get started. Again, thank you all for joining the bi-weekly Conversational Interfaces Academy. As always, feel free to visit our virtual agent and NLU community for content and experts. See there for the latest content and guides we have. Go there to ask questions or answer questions. All of you at the Academy, I'm sure you're all experts by now. And, as we have new users coming in, they could always use your advice, use your inputs. We also have an agent chat, AWA, and sidebar forum. I'd like to thank Sam Yukta for presenting the last couple of weeks for the Academy. And then, of course, as always, this video is recorded. Yes, the Academy is recorded. So if you or your colleague missed out or have to drop early, it is all available on YouTube. Just search Conversational Interfaces Academy, the playlist on the ServiceNow channel, or just search it in the search bar. I'm sure it'll come up, and I assure you everything is there. If you like what you're seeing, by the way, go ahead, and you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and click that like or subscribe button. That way you'll be notified every time this new video comes up, such as the one we're having right now. Great, so today's topic is on automated testing and group choice for the virtual agent. So these are two new features on the Utah release. I shouldn't say new because Utah's been out for several months now. So I hope you guys are taking a look at this, but maybe you haven't, or maybe you're just wondering what all this is about. So we're going to go into all of this today and show you how cool and useful these two features are. Before that, an announcement. Get ready. Our Vancouver release is coming soon. So the Vancouver general availability date is September 20th. The Vancouver release is available at developer.servicenow.com as a PDI. I just stood mine up yesterday. So that's available today. So you can check out the new Vancouver release, and you can be sure that, in the coming weeks and months, we will have academies on the Vancouver features for the virtual agent and for sidebar, etc. I believe in early October, look for that date. We'll be doing a what's new for conversational interfaces for Vancouver, as we have done for all past releases. All right. So let's first talk about the automated testing framework for virtual agent. Now, this is a new feature in the Utah release, and it is by far, or if not one of the highest upvoted idea portal idea for the virtual agent. Folks have been asking for ATF for virtual agent since as long as I can remember. And we now have the foundational support for ATF for the virtual agent. Okay, so it doesn't require a store app called Automated Testing for Virtual Agent. You can see it in your plugins page or probably in the ServiceNow store if you haven't already. And it allows you to create test cases of virtual agent topics. And we've provided a virtual agent topics test suite to store all of those. You can create more than one test case per topic. And of course, with ATF, you can run more than one test at a time. So instead of testing each topic one at a time, you can just run them all at once, and it'll say success or failure and where it fails, etc. So this is built in the Virtual Agent Designer. It's also included in the ATF test suite. One thing to note, you do need the ATF runner enabled role to run test cases. This is just the same role that you use for any other ATF testing. If you're an admin, you're probably inheriting this role. So just be on the lookout. If you don't see ATF for whatever reason, just make sure you have that role enabled. Make sure you got the store app installed, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so with that said, by the way, if you have any questions about what you're seeing in the Academy or about almost anything for Virtual Agent, feel free to pop it into the Q&A channel, not chat, Q&A, just so that I can read and do some effective question and answering there. So now let's jump into a demo for ATF for Virtual Agent. So I'm going to switch out of my presentation mode and switch to an instance. So this is on Utah patch 5, I believe, is the latest patch. As always, I recommend upgrading to the latest patch whenever available. So let's go to the designer. And I'm going to go to a new button up top here called Manage Test Cases, and this is allows me to manage all my test cases for ATF. You can see I've run some already, but I can create new test cases here. Okay, this tab here, and these are essentially all the topics that are published, okay, that are active, that do not have test cases. So I can choose amongst here which one topic I want to create a test case for, right? So let's say I want to create a test case for topic email setup, and it's going to open up the test case, right? This is a topic. Now, when I click test, it's going to open up my tab as always, right? And we have a new UI here called Create Test Case. So let me start that. And what that's going to do is that's going to start testing, recording the topic for the test case. Now I can now, run a flow or record a flow that I want recorded for ATF, right? So I'll just pick, I want to, test the iOS flow. And it's going to go do its thing. Did these steps work for you? Yes. And there we go. And now I could stop the capture. I can restart if I want, but I'll just stop here. And I can give this test case a name, email setup. The original title is recommendation, but I'm going to change this to iOS, right? Got me a timestamp, which is great. Click save. I could also trash if I want, but I'll click save here. And it's going to save the capture of that test case. So now this blue bar comes up. I'll click manage here, and it will take me back to here. You now see I have this email, nope, not this one. Here we go. Email setup, not issue, setup test case here, which is ready. It has not run before, so I can run it. So I can check this box and click run. What I could also do is I could also check multiple topics and run them both at the same time. So let's do that. I'll click 2, I'll click run, and it'll run my test cases. And I'll just do that spinny thing. Ready. It failed. I don't know why, but we can take a look at why. And this was in progress. Okay, so it all failed. I wonder why. Let's take a look. So I can now click into this failed result link here, and it'll take me to the ATF test suite, I believe. There we go. Failed to create conversation. Interesting. Start topic, received, everything else skipped. Test log, test transaction. So I'm not going to troubleshoot why this failed here now. We can see that like all the logs here as to what happened and in what order is captured here, the titles here, etc. So I can do this for email setup, and I can do this for create problem, which is also here. This has more steps. So for this one, several things was successful per my last recording. Then something happened here. I don't know what exactly. And the rest of the things skipped here. Okay. So yeah, I could basically create test cases for all my topics any way I want. I could create, if I want to, another test case. If I go back to email setup for a moment. Click test again. Create a new test case. Maybe I want to test the Apple flow. Did these steps work? Yes. Great. Stop. Apple. Save. Manage. And my Apple one's right there. So yeah, I can get, like I mentioned, I can create multiple test cases for one topic, and I can run, these 2 test cases at the same time again if I wanted to. Okay. One other thing I wanted to show you related to ATF for virtual agent. If I were to, let's close some of these windows here. I can easily just go back to all. I can go to, automated testing framework. Maybe you're more familiar with this window here. And you'll see here all the test suites, and I could look for virtual agent, or actually, or let's see, this is test suites. Yeah, here's virtual agent tests, or virtual agent topics, look into here. And you can see here all the test suites we've run. I don't believe we have any child ones, and then I can click into any one of them. I think this was the one I ran last time. You can schedule them probably. And yeah, there we go. So yeah, so now virtual agent and ATF are now part and parcel of each other. And it'll be a great way for you to test your test suites and automate this, of course, so that you don't have to test every variation of every topic and do all that manually. So that's ATF for virtual agent in a nutshell. So going back to the slides here, let me go back full screen here, and then let me see if there's any questions. But I do see some chats. Should we keep client test runner open while running the test? I'm not sure. I'm not an ATF expert, by the way, so I'm not sure what client test runner is, but I didn't need to use it, so, maybe, I'm not sure. And then Diana asked, oh, yeah, good point. Is it because it's not published? Probably not, or probably that is the case because I didn't, because I threw it back into test, or I made some changes. It inactivated it for me, even though it was published, I don't know, back in June. So yeah, maybe if I published it and ran the test case, it would work. So yeah, that's a good call. I didn't notice that inactive flag turned on as well, and I kind of flew past that. So maybe that was a good reason why it wasn't starting it or wasn't successfully doing the test in the first place. All right, so let's talk about the next feature here, which is called group choice input. And this was an ask that came to the virtual agent developers, actually via our customer service organization. They said, hey, we wanted this kind of UI that you see here. And this is very familiar to you if you've ever, booked a flight, booked a hotel, or order something online on DoorDash. You'd have this group choice, like, hey, I have some couple sets of questions that I want to ask you, all contained in one node. How do I do that? Well, this is how you do it, and I'll show you how to do it. It's a brand new input node called group choice. It supports both text and images, as you can see here. You get both single select and multi-select. And the last thing to note is that it is supported on a web only. However, another channel is supported on is Apple Business Chat. So that is a relatively new channel we're supporting. It is only for customer service management customers, right? Because we understand some of you like to use Apple Business Chat for your virtual agent conversations, helping customers, right? So that is a channel that's available. If you want more information, talk to your account exec for CSM, for customer service, and they could connect you to the right customer service outbound product manager for that. So those are the two channels that this group choice is supported for: web and Apple Business Chat. Okay, so let's go ahead and build one. So I'm going to exit out the slides here, go back to here, this is test suites. Let's go back to designer. All right, so I'm just going to create a brand new group choice from scratch just to show you how one's built, and then we'll test it and see what it looks like. So I'll just call this a group choice test. You can see I've built a group choice topic before. Let's create here. And here is the new group choice node. I'm going to drag that in. Give it a name. It doesn't matter. I'm going to call it sandwiches. I'm going to build a topic that asks what sandwich you want to order, right? So I'll just ask in the prompt here. This is going to be my main question, right? And I'm going to call it, order your sandwich. And, when it first pops up the node, it'll have a title and it'll have an image, which if I want, I don't have to. This is optional, right? So I can update the title. I can just, call this sandwich ordering page, something like that. And I can give it an image from your server or from your desktop. I'm going to get it from the desktop. So I'll click on this upload image here, and I have a sandwiches folder, and let's add a bologna sandwich to the uh, card. All right. So let's see what happened, or I can't test it now. I need to add a group. So let's add the first group. And you can see it's all kind of low code. Don't need to do any JSONing or scripting here. It does tell you, hey, where goes what exactly. So group name, let's call it sandwich order. And of course, if things don't make sense, we could always change it up a bit. I think this is just the name here. The display as is sandwich order. And we'll say, we'll call this grilled cheese. And I don't know, veggie sandwich. I could add another one. I have images for all of these. I think I had an image for sub. Okay, now I can add details for all of these. Grilled cheese is cheesy, right? This is like the little subtitle header that you saw earlier. I can upload an image here. I got a grilled cheese image here. Now you're gonna have to be careful with the images. They're gonna be shrunken, so you're gonna have to do some testing here and just make sure you got that taken care of. I don't know why my description disappeared. I'll just add it back. Veggie sandwich, I got an image for that. Oops, not scripting. Upload. I think I did. Oh, I don't have that image. Okay, I'll leave that one blank. I guess when I copied from or saved the image from Google Images, and didn't let me do it. But I'll skip that for now. But I'll call it vegetarian. And then for sub, pretty sure I got a image for that. Italian sub. Description. Italian sub. Now, I can select here for multi-select. I'm not going to do that here because, we're going to let our user select just one sandwich. Okay, so I'll click save here. So that's my first group of choices. And I'm going to add my next group of choices. Okay, so this one's going to be called, I don't know, condiments. What did I say? Select condiments. And I'll just say, I won't add any descriptions here. Lettuce, tomatoes, mayo, pickles. And this one, I will make multi-select. So user will select more than one. Click yes, click save. Okay, so I've now created a group choice, and this group choice is going to ask me two questions, right? It's going to, in one single node or one single, input, it's going to ask me what sandwich do I want, and I have three options. And what condiments am I going to want? It's got four options, multi-select. Okay, so now let's give this a test. So I'm going to click test here. Now let's see what it looks like. Might take a while to load because it's all the images and stuff. So let's see what we get. Okay, I got my order your sandwich prompt. You can see I got my sandwich ordering page here title, and along with an image. Note again, it's pretty small, so don't create images that the user has to rely on to read anything. So if I click into this, I now have my ordering page. Now, apologies for the bad branding UI. I think my branding isn't set up, or it's set up, but like not for group choice here. But you can see here's my sandwich order. Choose one. I can choose grilled cheese, veggie sandwich, or sub. I'll choose sub. I like subs. And then here again, apologies for the branding here. Select condiments. Choose multiple because multi-select. Here, yeah, cheesy. Yeah, we got the subtitles, which is good. And then I'll select, lettuce and tomatoes, and I click submit. It'll read it back to me, which is great. And that's the node. All right. The next thing I want to show you is how do I, yes, someone selects sandwich order and the condiments, and that's all well and good. But, what if I want to use these inputs somewhere, right? So let's close this for now. Let's grab in a text. I'm going to grab in a script for a little bit later. Call this grab inputs. And let's say, hey, you ordered a blank, right? So you notice because this group choice, it still acts like every other input. You can grab it from input variables in its globe icon, or I think it's a globe icon, input variables. You can see here condiments or users. The condiments, because it was multi-select, it's going to be an array. The order was a choice. So if I select order here, I can do that. And then scripting here, let's say, just I'll call it a grab from script. I could, let's see here. It's going to act the same as every other input node here. So let's see here. I can say return VA inputs dot condiments order, right? I'll say condiments dot, and I can just say get value. I didn't have to type this. It all auto, that drop down was automatic. Click save. Or I can say with, so I don't know if this if this syntax is right, but we'll find out soon enough. Oh, maybe I should put a space here. Yeah. So now if I test it again, I'm going to head order my sandwich. I'm going to order a grilled cheese with lettuce and tomatoes. Submit. You ordered a grilled cheese. And my syntax was wrong in the script. I'm sure there's a concatenate function, actually. Just for simplicity, I'm just going to do this. People in Q&A or chat are probably already telling me what I did wrong. Yeah, lettuce, tomatoes, and then you can parse it if you want. With zeros, with a 0 or 1, if you just wanted one of the condiments, etc. But there you have it. There's how you use group choice, build your inputs, put some snazzy UI on it, and then you can, of course, not only will it read it back to you by default, but also how to grab the outputs as well. So all this is available in Utah. Definitely check it out, especially this group choice, especially ATF. Of course, in the past couple of months, I know we've showed a lot of Utah features. This is sort of the last of the bunch we've been able to show in in our academies. I'll now pause. That's the end of my prepared remarks. I'll now go back to answer any questions that you may have. So I'm going to open up the Q&A panel here. Let's see here. Katie asked, hold on, there we go. Katie asked, can the test cases check if links added in a topic are working, for example? I don't know, because if a link goes, you definitely have to try that out. I don't think it would work if links go out to like the outside world, but if links are supposed to open something up within the virtual agent, I've never tried it. I'd be curious to see if that works. Do we have any options to handle multi-row variable set in virtual agent? I don't know what that is. I've heard it before. I understand it's some platform capability, but I don't know. So sorry, I can't help you out there. A general question about virtual agent. Where can I learn more about having a user complete an HR record producer? I want to be able to have the user complete the question and then be accompanied around into the portal, submit the case. For record, so I don't know, Cheryl, off the top of my head. It's more of an HR question, and HR might have so HR does have an out-of-box virtual agent topic for you to use. I believe it's called create case. So it may be possible that rather than you having to create your own topic about having to create an HR case, we already have one for you, and that probably uses some form of record producer. I know ITSM, by analogy, they have, they do service catalog topics, so that people don't need to create record producer for that. So yeah, I would definitely take a look at, if you go to our documentation, just type in, or search for HRSD for HR service delivery, HRSD virtual agent topics. We do have out-of-box topics. I believe they may use some form of record producer when you want to, say, create a case or update an HR case, rather than you having to build one yourself. Russ asks, is it possible to map the choices to a reference list? Oh, no, it is not possible, unfortunately, Russ. This is all, it has to be manually created. But it's a good suggestion, though. I can see how that could be helpful. So no, it can't be linked to, say, a table or anything like that. It's, again, meant for manual creation. I believe in the past, customers complained, oh, in order to have a group choice UI, we'd have to script all this and pull in the group reference that way. Well, we sort of indexed on, let's create a low code experience, but I don't think, unfortunately, we were able to support reference choice at the time. But it's a good request. Can NLU be configured with the group choice? I don't, or let me see. I don't believe so, but if I were to go back real quick, I'll just see if it's possible to skip. Yeah, I don't see a skip entity node option here. So my guess is, unfortunately, not. Of course, the NLU will work to get you into the sandwich topic or this group choice test topic, but then I don't think it's going to be able to input anything here to skip entities. Unfortunately, not, Dustin. Russ, I think I just answered your question. Hopefully that answered that. And then by web, I assume you mean the portal. Yes. And group choice. So group choice is not supported in Teams, although, the moment I shared this to customers, they asked, will group choice be in Teams or Slack for those Slack users? Unfortunately not, but it's a good request. I think, our PMs heard that pretty loud and clear when they built this. But yeah, for now, it's web only, or the aforementioned Apple Business Chat channel. Will Gen AI replace VA topics? Not entirely. It'll replace some topics. I know that some customers like creating topics that just answer one question, right? Like how to set up my email earlier, right? Topics like that will probably go away. On the flip side, we do have advanced topics such as ordering a sandwich, right? Or booking a conference room or resetting your password. And these action-oriented topics that we have, they will not be as easily replaced by Gen AI, right? So definitely the knowledge-oriented topics, they are already being replaced by AI search. And I certainly don't recommend people creating topics just for the sake of displaying a knowledge article, right? So those types of topics probably will be more and more replaced by generative AI. And we're going to, talk more about generative AI in the coming months leading up to our Vancouver release for Virtual Agent. But then topics like these, topics like, again, all the ones I talked about with that are action-oriented, that are workflow-oriented, probably not as much. Great. So with that, let me go to the chat here. By web. Yeah, I mean, hear you loud and clear on the Teams support for group choice and for Slack. Although I know Teams, from personal experience, I usually hear more about Teams, but every so often, you also get this 100-pound gorilla is like, oh, we're a Slack shop. So yeah, I mean, input her loud and clear. Hopefully in the coming future releases, we'll take a look at being able to support group choice for Teams and for mobile even. Great. Well, I don't see any other questions, but thank you for the questions and thank you for your participation. Thank you for joining our Academy today. We're at the top of the hour. We're going to wrap things up, but as always, if you like what you saw, we're going to be on YouTube, and then stay tuned for our next Conversational Interfaces Academy. Thank you, everyone.